Marketer, how do we improve the performance of this product tag? The answer could help rescue 3,500 small businesses suffering through this current pandemic. But it could also help you. It could help you transform the results in your own marketing. I have an unusual answer, but to even understand that answer, we're going to have to challenge our current paradigm. For this, we need a single Lego brick. There it is. As implausible as it may sound, the way we think about this brick can help to open a doorway in your mind that will enable us to achieve a whole new level of marketing and conversion performance. Consider this question. How much of reality do you and I truly perceive? Let's simplify. How much of what you see is really there? And how much of what is there do you really see? It's a vital question for a philosopher, but it's a vital question for the marketer as philosopher as well. So reflect for a moment on this thin, multicolored line. Did you know that the full electromagnetic spectrum is equal to the distance from New York to Los Angeles? Yet your eyes can only see or perceive a span equal to the width of this tiny dime. Not this width, but as I turn it sideways, that width. What's going on here? I mean, the obvious conclusion is that we see very little of what's really going on here. And that brings us to a capital problem. Marketer, we see less than a 10/1000th of what is truly out there. But numbers of this magnitude are impossible to fathom, so let's return to the Lego brick and just imagine this. Imagine that we built half of the skyscrapers in the entire world out of Legos. Visualize it. Now imagine that we select one building and we select one Lego brick from that building. That would approximate a 10/100000th. It's staggering. It's hard to believe, but it's true. This simple illustration demonstrates how little we see and how little we really perceive. I run a research lab. We've conducted 20,000 plus treatment tests, and we've invested over $130 million in research partnerships. All of this was so that we could understand how to overcome problems such as this one. Indeed, the whole point of this illustration is only this. Value must be perceived before it can be believed. That's a statement that requires reflection. I am Flint. This is episode 3 of The Marketer as Philosopher. In episode 1, we challenged you with a powerful new idea, a new kind of teaching series, a way for marketers to come together, grow their skills, and apply those skills to help 3,500 small businesses struggling amidst this global crisis. In episode 2, we taught you how to use the first in a series of thinking tools, the data pattern analysis. It is just one in a set of at least 7 tools we're going to give you. In episode 3, we're going to introduce you to the next thinking tool that will enable you to overcome this challenge. It's called the conversion heuristic analysis. Value must be perceived before it can be believed. Indeed, clarity trumps persuasion. We do not fail because we do not discount enough. We fail because we do not communicate value well enough. Let's consider 2 concrete examples. One from a large multi-billion-dollar enterprise, and another from a small, scrappy entrepreneurial startup. But let's do it in the form of a challenge. Let's stimulate your neurons. So, take a look at 2 versions of a page. We've numbered them, 1 and 2. Tell me which one of these pages do you think will produce the highest conversion rate? It'd be good to put your answer in the chat feature down below. But pick one and then go a step deeper and say, and what is the reason I choose this over that? Because that reason forms the kernel of a hypothesis. And later we'll learn all about these. In subsequent episodes, we're going to teach you how to formulate and test a hypothesis. Okay, you've got your first answer. Let's now go to our second. Here we are. 2 versions. Both pages look good. But which one produces the highest conversion rate? Which one will get the most yeses? It's important to really make a choice, engage, and you learn more. So, let's then review the results. So we can see that treatment 2, that is number 2, which was actually cell B in our test, outperformed the control by 84%. That's powerful. It's almost miraculous. When you think about it, all you're doing is changing some signals on a page. You're not changing the offer. You're not changing the price. You're not changing or adding a bunch of new money to your marketing budget. And yet, you see a huge increase in performance. Something important is happening. Let's look at the second one. Here again, you see a 30% difference in favor of version 2. That was actually the test cell B in our experiment. Now, something powerful is going on here, and we must detect it. If you don't get anything else out of this episode, learn to see these pages in a new way. And to do that, I'm going to take you backwards from the result through the mind of the prospect. Think with me. This is very important. The conversion, this is what we all talk about, the yes. That's the transformation from prospect to customer. In Greek, we call it the metanoia. The conversion was preceded by something else. What was that? A decision. Had they not made the decision, of course, they wouldn't have become a customer. But the decision was preceded by a conclusion. Before they chose, they made a tentative conclusion about you and about the product, about the company and about the product. It takes both. But this conclusion was preceded by another process we call observation. That is their interaction with your marketing collateral. That is their reading of your literature or their viewing of your video. That is how they interact with the signal set you put in front of them. So there's an order here: observation, conclusion, decision, conversion. But let's keep going, because this is where it gets interesting. The observation was only possible because we as marketers craft a signal set. And this is the only part of this process you really control, so you've got to get this right. There is a signal set, which is zeros and ones, pixels turned on and off, that produce an illusion on that screen. And that illusion impacts your mind in so many ways that we still can't understand fully. I don't know why I find myself crying in a theater looking at flickering images that aren't even about something true. And yet the emotional impact is remarkable. In the same way, think with me, and I'm going to show you a different narrative, a different story. It's like going in the theater. Let's go in the theater of this sales funnel. And let's look at 2 versions of a page. I'm going to unpack this a little bit more now. So you see the test protocol number, and you see the setup for the experiment. Our library is full of these. Now, as we get to the 2 pages side by side, you should start to notice there's something very different in the approach to the copy. What is that? What is that primary difference? Well, let's drill down on that for just a moment. This is powerful because in effect, we're answering a simple question. What changed in the signal set that produced a different observation and thus a different conclusion and thus a different decision and thus a 34% conversion increase? And the answer can be seen if we get more careful in how we view and think about the page. So here is the control. Boost your energy and metabolism, improve digestion, and detoxify and alkalize, save time and money. This is a classic approach. Here's the approach that won. Made from 75 whole foods, contains probiotics and enzymes, carefully formulated by doctors and nutritionists, 10 plus years of research. Marketer, stop. Don't watch a show, don't think YouTube, don't think Flint McGlaughlin. Just for a moment, put 100% of your energy into thinking about the difference between the structure of these statements and the structure of those we just looked at on the control. What is it? Can you detect it? Can you see a change in the underlying psychology? Here's the key. One version is claim-driven, and the other is conclusion-driven. And in the words of one of my favorite poets, Robert Frost, that made all the difference. Now, coming up, I'm going to show you another example, and I'm going to teach you 5 practical ways to achieve this transformation in your results. But first, I have shown you a Lego brick, and I have shown you the first half of a web page. Now I'm going to show you a strange, moving video clip. Trust me, it connects. This is a woman learning to sign her name. It's moving. But why is it so important? As I answer that question, I'm going to bring all of these different elements together. You're watching episode 3. This is a new series designed to teach you how to transform your marketing results. But in episode 2, and this is really important, we discovered how to drive an additional $1 million in new business for this remarkable not-for-profit group. We found the answer hiding in the data. That's what episode 2 is all about. Through a careful analysis, we discovered that by optimizing the label on this product tag, we could get thousands of people who purchase a product in the brick and mortar places like Disney to come to the website and purchase again. This is found money. But we've got to get this tag, this label, to communicate in the way that it should. We have to change the signal set. Every product has this tag, and every tag has the signature of the person who made it. And through a remarkable breakthrough in technology, when you purchase one of these products, you can actually communicate regularly with the person who made it. You can speak to them directly. This is powerful. It enables that person to earn a living and transform their family and eventually their village. We see it over and over again. But it also enables you to communicate with the person who made the product you purchased, to encourage them, and to build a genuine friendship. Listen, we need to sell more of these baskets and products. We need to help more of these people. We talk about that in episode 1. Right now, I'm inviting you to help us optimize this product tag and to drive tens of thousands of people back into the store and to help 10 by 3, that's the organization, make up for the losses it's experienced during this global pandemic. In a few moments, I'm going to go back to the earlier case study and show you 5 ways to influence conclusions. But first, I'm going to outline 3 ways you can help 10 by 3. You're a marketer, and your job is important. And you can lift your head up high because you are just as important as a caregiver. And in fact, in the right circumstances, you can influence behavior and save lives. Put one of these banners that you're going to see at the end of the program, put one of these banners on your website and drive traffic to the 10 by 3 e-commerce site. That's one way. 2, analyze this product label. Now, please take time in the chat below to give me 3 key ways to improve these tags. Finally, invite more marketers to become part of this community. They need to subscribe and participate in the new series because as a team, we can do way more together than any one of us can do alone. We're going to help lots of people in situations just like this using the skills that we learned together. All right, now let's go back to the final case study and let's learn these 5 keys. This is test protocol 1457. This is a tax preparation group that offers payroll and business consulting services. They want to improve landing page conversion. So we've talked about the 2 treatments. We've seen the results. Here's the control. Here's the treatment again. You can see them side by side. And you may think now, okay, What is different in this treatment? Think of it as a signal set. What is different in this signal set that produces the different set of observations and thus a different set of conclusions and thus a different set of decisions and thus a higher rate of conversion? If you're trying to sort of get your mind wrapped around that, I'm a teacher. That's all I want to do. I want to learn and teach. Let me help you any way I can. So I'll do that right now by giving you 5 things that we've observed in running these experiments that might help you figure out not only how and why this page worked better, but how to get that label working better for Teresa. She's the CEO of this not-for-profit group, and for your own business. Number 1, don't ask, tell. Use your headline to capture attention and convert it into interest. Don't start the top of your page with a clever-looking question. I didn't come so that you could ask me questions. I came to get my questions answered. Tell me what I need to know. And then as you do, remember point 2, don't talk at people, talk to them. There's a big difference in mindsets. Even now, as I'm on this broadcast with you, I'm trying to talk to you, not at you. Forgive me if I get too pedantic and sound too patronizing. I don't mean to, because I know that on the other side of this communication relationship is somebody that is investing energy in order to solve a problem. And I want to help you do that. But we often talk at people. You say, well, how do I keep from doing that? Well, let's finish that point. Substitute declarative and imperative sentences with explanatory sentences. Now, if you don't know what those are, look them up on Google. We learned them in grammar school. There's a type of sentence called a declarative. And then there's an imperative. An imperative is a sentence that's like a command. Do this, submit now. But it's funny, when I ask marketers to explain a confusing page to me, they use normal language and they do a good job, and most of the time they write superb copy, but they don't even know they're writing copy. They're just telling me what they're trying to say. Well, if you have to do that, then you've got the page wrong to start with. Do it on the page. Use explanatory sentences and talk to me. Don't push, rather guide. For every claim, ask, what is the credible fact upon which this claim is based? So if you're making a claim on your site, ask yourself a different question. Why can I say that? Why is that true? Then change that claim into a credible fact so that it supports the right conclusion. Help them arrive at the right conclusion. You do this because you have the right person and because you have the right offer for them at the right time. Here comes the 4th piece. Don't brag, share. If a statement isn't quantitative and thus more believable, then let someone else say it for you. But don't brag on yourself. That doesn't work in polite conversation, and it doesn't work in marketing either. We just don't believe you. This brings me to the 5th point. I'm almost done. Don't stack sequence. Many of our pages are just stacks of information. We're not sure which one matters or which one actually influences conversion the most, but we know it's good, so we sling it on the page, Apple style. Don't copy Apple. Unless you copy their design genius, it doesn't work to copy their marketing approach. But that's a different conversation. Don't stack sequence. Never ask for a right decision before you have won the right conclusion in the mind. We often ask too soon. We make demands. We speak in imperatives. And we dehumanize our communication. It becomes this mess that sounds like sales and hype. It feels like a political speech instead of a human being talking to another human being. But if you can get your tone right, if you can get your voice right, then you can communicate what they need to know so they can conclude what they need to conclude, so they can decide what they need to decide, so they can convert from prospect to customer. As marketers, we need to learn to overcome our number one vulnerability. If you've heard me and you're starting to get this, but you're not sure you totally understand how to do it, that's what the next episode is going to do. We're going to talk about overcoming your own blind spot. We're going to transform a powerful heuristic into a tool that you can download and use to help you get your communication just right. So, thank you Number one, for investing time and energy, being with us this far. And then pay close attention to this conversion heuristic up on the screen because it's going to be the key. We're going to teach you element by element what it means and how to use it. And finally, thank you again. Thank you for participating. Thank you for helping 10 by 3. Most of all, thank you for your trust.